US inflation is at a 40-year high. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's talk about the insanely high inflation that the US has. We'll jump over to this left screen here and we can see at Trading Economics, it is now at 9.1%. It was, there you go. Just 5% seemed like a lot. Let's have a look at 25 years. That's runaway inflation. That is insane. People are going to be feeling that on their day-to-day lives. Let's go to the max data. We're not quite at how crazy it was back in the 50s, but if you look at the 70s there and the inflation going up to the 80s, you've still got some time to go. We'll still get there, guys. That's when they broke the gold standard, isn't it? Well, there you go. So the inflation is just shooting to the moon, guys. Let's have a look at this article from Politico. US inflation reached a new 40-year high in June of 9.1%. Remember when they said it would be transitory? How long is transitory? Does it count if it's a year, 2 years, 3 years? We'll have to see. Lower income Black and Hispanic Americans have been hit especially hard. Well, lower income, everyone's going to be hit especially hard. It's going to be tough. Surging prices for gas, food, and rent catapulted US inflation to a new 4-decade peak in June, further pressuring households and likely sealing the case of another large interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve, with higher borrowing costs to follow. Consumer prices soared 9.1% compared with a year earlier, the government said Wednesday, the biggest 12-month increase since 1981, and up from an 8.6% jump in May. On a monthly basis, prices rose 1.3% from May to June, another substantial increase after prices had jumped 1% from April to May. There you go. The ongoing price increases underscore the brutal impact that inflation has inflicted on many families, with the cost of necessities in particular rising much faster than average incomes. Lower income Black and Hispanic Americans have been hit especially hard because a disproportionate share of their income goes towards such essentials as housing, transportation, and food. Now, this is a similar thing to consider when we hear discussions of mortgage stress here in Australia or housing stress. Another 200,000 people in housing stress. The old 30% rule of your income being spent on your mortgage. Now, the issue is, it's going to affect lower income people more than those who are not. And there is a big divide in income gaps here in Australia. Let me bring this up here. This is the wage growth. And this is the differences in household income. You're looking at the top, over $2,000, the middle just under $1,000, but the bottom like $427, everyone. So we're talking a big difference in income distribution. And you're just seeing the same thing here in the lower income groups in America. It's a similar thing. They're going to be impacted more. In their housing stress is going to inflate, is going to play up even more. Some economists have held out hope that inflation might be reaching or near a short-term peak. Gas prices, for example, have fallen from the eye-watering $5 a gallon, reached in mid-June, to an average of $4.66 nationwide as of Tuesday. Still far higher than a year ago, but a drop that could help slow inflation for July and possibly August. Well, I wonder, who are they going to blame for this? Are they still going to be pushing the blame on the Russians and the Chinese? This is the problem, guys, when you restart the economy, hey? This reset kind of sucks, doesn't it? It's not working out as well as they all hoped, did they? In addition, shipping costs and commodity prices have begun to fall. Pay increases have slowed, and surveys show that America's expectations for inflation over the long run have eased, a trend that often points to more moderate price increases over time. So this could take a few years to work out through the system. Yet for now, the relentless spike in inflation has caused a steep drop in consumers' confidence in the economy, sent President Joe Biden's approval ratings tumbling, and posed a major political threat to Democrats in the November congressional elections. 48% of adults said in a June AP NORC poll that they thought tackling inflation should be a top government priority this year, up from just 14% who who said so in December. Well, I mean, it's a bit of a fantasy to think that the government's actually going to make any difference, isn't it? They're just going to keep running with it all, guys. So, well, let's have a bit of a talk about this. So, as Australians, we need to pay attention to what's happening in the US with their inflation, because their Federal Reserve will attempt to, well, increase their rates to fight inflation. If they can pull it off or not is another question. But the RBA will obviously have to follow suit and keep lockstep with the Federal Reserve to, ensure the divide isn't too great. And that's going to have an impact on us here in Australia. Things are just going to get tougher for people in the States. It's going to get tougher for us here in Australia. And I don't think there's any short-term end in sight. Hopefully, this is the peak for inflation in the US, and it won't stay at a 40-year peak for too long, and it'll start coming back down, but we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Thank you all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can financially support us by joining us on YouTube or Patreon, using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband, buying our pocket squares, calling us if you need an architect. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next episode of HeiseSays. Wonder if we'll hit a 40-year inflation peak. Poor Biden. He's going to get hammered at the next election.